We used to have privacy rights in this country, but apparently we don't anymore after today because President Bush got exactly what he wanted. Now, the Associated Press had a terrific headline on it, nailed it. It said, Senate bows to Bush, approves surveillance bill. No, but that is exactly right. Senate bows to George W. Bow your head! And they did. And they did. In the end, they got 26 people to try to filibuster it, and they got 28 votes against. Anyways, I'm reading down the list, and I look at all these people who voted the right way and people who voted the wrong way. I'm disappointed in some of the people who voted the wrong way, but it's largely a list that doesn't surprise me until I get to Barack Obama. And the thing is, I had forgotten that Obama voted with the Republicans, right? So I'm going down the list, and I'm like, oh, yeah, all right. And then I see Obama's name, and I was like, oh. It was like a gut punch all over again. Oh, man. What did you do, my friend? What did you do? All right, let me clarify for the billionth time. Barack Obama is 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times better than John McCain. I have hope that he will do the right thing if he ever gets elected president, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, look, you don't give up fundamental freedoms because you think, well, it might help me a little bit politically. And that's problem number one. And I would call that a gigantic problem. But we've talked a lot about that, so I'm going to move past that one. Let's get to point number two, which is, politically speaking, it's not going to help you a little bit. I think it's going to hurt you, maybe even significantly. Why? Because here's what we're all afraid of. We're afraid that you're going to run a campaign like Senator Kerry did, which is, I'm Republican light. I agree with everything they say, but not quite as much. And this is an excellent example of that. Bowing your head to Dick Cheney and George Bush a couple of months out from the election? Why? As Nancy Kerrigan would say, why? Why? It doesn't make any political sense. It's what I call the politics of weakness. Now, did Obama have a choice? Could he have done something else? Of course! Now, look at, I had somebody write on my blog on Daily Kos. You know, I wrote about this, how they, capitulated and they gave up our fundamental freedoms to terrorists, by the way. Let's be clear on that. Osama bin Laden wanted us to give up these freedoms, and today the Republicans, Bush, Cheney, and unfortunately Barack Obama, sent it over to him. They said, FedEx this to Waziristan, if you don't mind. We're giving up the Fourth Amendment. That should make bin Laden happy. I'm sure he's ecstatic over it, because he couldn't have done it himself. All he could do is set off some bombs. We have to give up our rights. We have to give up our freedoms. And these Republicans and these Democrats have combined together to say, we're so deathly afraid of a couple of guys hiding in a cave in Pakistan that we will give up these freedoms. And it sickens me that Barack Obama's on that list. So, what could he have done instead? Because a guy on that blog writes in, and he says, look, I'm a loyal Young Turks listener and a member, and proud. And I love him for saying that, right? He says, but you got to understand, Jake, if there was a attack between now and the election, the Republicans would say, aha, Obama caused it, and because he voted the wrong way on this FISA thing and the surveillance thing, and that's why we had the attack, and he can't take that kind of political risk. Now, I couldn't disagree more. You want to know how you do the politics of strength? This is how you do it. You lead your fellow Democrats into a bill that takes care of the only problem we have, which is foreign-to-foreign communications routed through the United States should not require a warrant, but they do. That's a problem with the current law. We recognize that. Reasonable people recognize that. That needs to be addressed. You write up that bill, you send it to Bush, and then when he doesn't sign it, you say, Bush has endangered America. If anything, God forbid, should happen between now and the time George Bush leaves office, it is on his hands. Blood will be on his hands. This is on his legacy. It is unacceptable, and George Bush is endangering all of America. Now, what's so hard about that? Because he would be. Because he's the one not closing the loophole. He's the one endangering it. Now, you say, oh, no, it can't be done. Well, that's because we are used to Democrats who are weak and who bow their heads. And they go, okay, they're right on national security. No, they're not right on national security. They're cowards who give in to terrorists. These colors don't run. Okay, now, if you came out strongly like that, we are trained to believe that you would lose. But I don't believe you would. I believe you would win. Say it loud, say it proud. We are the guardians of freedom. Now, if you framed it that way, you think that we're gonna lose? If you had every Democrat going out on television and saying, no, you don't understand. These colors don't run. We don't give up rights to terrorists. We're not going to give up the Fourth Amendment to Osama bin Laden. We are the guardians of freedom. Say it with me. We are the guardians of freedom. Do you think we would lose? We wouldn't lose. That's the politics of strength. What Obama did today is the politics of weakness.